Nice to have your association.
Is this your first time, Mataji?
Yes, here in this meeting. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much for joining this mid-morning session. Give me a beautiful association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, Dandrat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Preeti Dasi from Charlotte. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining this mid-morning session and for giving a beautiful association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, Dandvat Pranam to you and all respected Vaishnavas, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev Ki Jai, Vrinda. And yes, well, we all will welcome Haripriya Mataji by singing 3 times Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Welcome Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Go ahead, Vaishnav.
Kamodaki Mataji, please go.
Oh, okay. Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Our Srila Prabhupada, our Sri Guru Maharaj, and all the devotees. Thank you, Mataji, for greeting us. Who is
Hare Krishna.
greeting? Shivani.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining this mid-morning session and for giving a beautiful association this morning. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Vrinda Gopika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining this mid-morning session and giving a beautiful association this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Srila Prabhupada, thank you so much for your warm welcoming, Mataji. This is Preeti Vilasini Devidasi from California.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Vilasini Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining this mid-morning session and giving a beautiful association this morning. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to assembled devotees, Yashamati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, yes, Yashamati Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining this mid-morning session and giving a beautiful association this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, Dandvat Pranams, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharajas and all the assembled Vaishnavas. This is Kirtida Sundari Dasi.
Hare Krishna, Kirtida Sundari Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining this mid-morning session and giving a beautiful association this morning. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody else who would like to announce their name? Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I welcome you all to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call for this mid-morning session. Today we are very fortunate to have the beautiful association of Her Grace Kirtida Sundari Mataji. Mataji will be inviting us on Sri Caitanya Bhagavata Adi Khanda 2.7 onwards. Hare Krishna, Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Guru Maharaj ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. Please take over the class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, Dandvat Pranams. Dandvat Pranams to each and every one on the call. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So we will begin with our Chaitanya Bhagavat. But before we begin, today is a very special day. Would anyone like to say that what's
appearance?
Today is the most auspicious appearance day of Srila Narottam Das Thakur. And he was one of the first 3 book distributors, right? So we should remember such great personalities, especially on their appearance and disappearance days. So before beginning to our Chaitanya Bhagavat, we will first pray to Srila Narottam Das Thakur by singing one of his bhajan. And this bhajan is very, very potent. It connects us to our spiritual masters. It connects us to our previous acharyas. And it also helps us to beg their causeless mercy for our progression in our spiritual life. We all know this bhajan, and it's a very common one. We normally sing it on appearance and disappearance days. So we'll begin with remembering Srila Narottam Das Thakur, and then we'll move on to our Chaitanya Bhagavat by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. So I'll sing it, but please forgive me. I don't have a very good voice. I'm a very poor singer, but just focus on these wonderful words by Narottam Das Thakur and try to connect to our previous acharyas. And don't focus on my voice. So we'll start with Jayanilo Premadhana Karuna Prachur Heno Prabhu Kotha Gela Acharya Thakur Heno Prabhu Kotha Gela Acharya Thakur Kaha mora sarup rupa Kaha sanatan Kaha das raghu natha patita pavan Kaha das raghu natha patita pavan Kaha mora bhata juga Kaha kaviraj Eka kale kotha gela Gaura nataraj Eka kale kotha gela Gaura nataraj Bhashane kutibo matha Anale pashibo Gauranga gunera nidhi Kotha gela pabo Gauranga gunera nidhi Ketha gela pabo Se sab sangira sange Koilo bilas Se sangana paya Kande Narottam Das Se sangana paya Kande Narottam Das Jayanilo Premadhanam Karuna Prachur Heno Prabhu Kotha Gela Acharya Thakur Heno Prabhu Kotha Gela Acharya Thakur Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Jaya Srila Narottam Das Thakur Jaya Narottam Das Thakur Jaya Narottam Das Thakur Jaya Narottam Das Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Narottam Das Thakur ki jai. Thank you, Gandharvika Mataji, for sharing the screen. So we'll move on to our Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat now. And we are reading from chapter number 2, Adi Khanda, chapter 2, and we'll start with verse number 7 today. But before that, we'll sing the Mangalacharan verses. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Vena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I seek blessings, prayers and wishes from each and every one of you so that I can convey the right message in the mood that Vrindavan Das Thakur, in the mood that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur in his beautiful, elaborate, extensive purports, and of course to our dear Srila Prabhupada, I can convey the right mood they carry. So please offer your prayers, blessings and wishes. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhu bhaivacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Guruve Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namo. Anand Leela Maya Vigrahaya Hema Bhadivya Chavi Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. Ajanulambita bhujau kanakavadhatau Sankirtanaicapitarau kamalayatakshav Vishvambharau dvijavarau yogadharmapalau Vande jagat priyakarau karunavatarau Jayati Jayati Deva Krishna Chaitanya Chandro Jayati Jayati Kirti Tasya Nitya Pavitra Jayati Jayati Bhrityas Tasya Vishveshvamurter Jayati Jayati Nityam Tasya Sarva Priyana. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Okay, so we are in the second chapter of this Chaitanya Bhagavat, which entitles the Lord's appearance of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in chapter number 1, before ending, Vrindavan Das Thakur writes a very beautiful verse. He says, Adi Khanda Kathe Bhai Shuna Eka Chete Shri Chaitanya Avatirna Hela Ye Namate. So what Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying that, my dear brothers, Adi Khanda Katha, the pastimes that are described in Adi Khanda, O Bhai, O my brothers, Suna Eka Chitte, just hear, just listen with rapt attention. Eka Chitte, very, very attentively, with our heart and with our soul. Eka Chitte Sune, this Katha of Adi Khanda. Shri Chaitanya Avatirna, Hailaye Namate. And because, why we have to hear? Because Adi Khanda deals with the beautiful pastimes of Avatirna, of the appearance of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And down the line, after 4 Sundays, on the auspicious day of Purnima, Falgun Purnima, that is on Tuesday, I think so, is the most holiest appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that also marks New Year for ourselves, Gaudiya Vaishnavas. It marks the New Year, the start of a new year, right? So now we'll be hearing about the pastimes of the appearance of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying that we have to listen with ekachitte, right? Attentively. But we'll not be able to touch the pastimes of his appearance. But why he appeared? What was the reason of his appearance? And who could understand his appearance? First, we should, deal with those subject matters rather than just jumping into those beautiful pastimes, which are definitely very, very beautiful. But we have to first understand the reason why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. So in first few verses, that is first 5 verses, that I think so, first 6 verses that we did yesterday by His Grace Ramagirdhari Prabhu, Vrindavan Das Thakur is describing the glories. Jaya Jaya, he is saying those Manglacharan, he wants to say all victory to those two brothers, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, and also all victory to the Panchatattvas, that is to Advaita Acharya, to Gadadhar Pandit, and to Srivas Thakur, and all the associates, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, and all the associates of Mahaprabhu. So he is saying Jaya Jaya, and how important it is that we should also participate in this Jaya Jaya. So normally, in ISKCON temples, we have seen that, after Arati, we have a Jaya Dhavani prayers, right? So every one person will sing that Jaya Dhavani prayers, Prema Dhavani prayers, and all the others will accompany saying Jai, Jai, right? Like Haridas Thakur ki Jai. So Radha Kund, Shama Kund ki Jai. So we have to accompany those Jaya Dhavani. It's very, very important. Anyways, everything is victorious. Krishna's pastimes will be victorious. Krishna's presence is victorious. Krishna's incarnations are victorious. Everything is victorious. It's not that if I'm not going to say today Jaya, so there will be some decline in the glorification of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Krishna. No, they are anyways glorious. Even if I say or if I don't say, if I accompany in that Jaya Dhavani prayers or if I don't, anyway, it's glorious. But if it's glorious, then why not participate in those glorious activities? Why not participate by just saying Jaya to all those glorious pastimes and forms and qualities of the Supreme Lord? So here also, I'll just read the verses we have already covered yesterday in detail. But because it's a Jaya Dhavani of this chapter number 2, because Vrindavan Das Thakur writes beautiful these Jaya prayers in each and every chapter. So we should always try to sing. Jaya Jaya Mahaprabhu Gaura Sundara, Jaya Jagannatha Putra Maha Maheshwara, Jaya Nityananda Gadadhara Jivana, Jaya Jaya Advaitadi Bhaktera Sharan, Bhakta Goshti Sahita Gauranga Jaya Jaya, Shunile Chaitanya Katha Bhakti Labhaya. Very, very beautiful verse. He is giving the crux, the secret of getting Krishna Prem. We all are chanting for what? We are doing our chanting, right? Chaitanya Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in his Chaitanya Charitamrita, he writes, Bahu janma kare yadi shravana kirtana tabutana paya Krishna pade premadhana. That if we are infested with offenses of the chanting of the holy name, then Bahu janma kare yadi shravana kirtana. In spite of chanting this holy name for many, many births, Tabutana Paya Krishna Pade Premadhana. We are not going to achieve the ultimate goal of chanting, the prayojana of chanting. And what is that prayojana? Is Krishna Prem. So we have to chant offenselessly in order to achieve Krishna Prem. Right? That's the goal of our chanting, that we have to chant. We chant, why? Because we want Krishna Prem. That is the goal of all our Gaudiya Vaishnavas. But here, Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying that one can achieve there is another means by which one can achieve Krishna Prem. Bhakta Goshti Sahita Gauranga Jaya. Bhakta Goshti. Goshti means the group. So all the associates, all the associates of Mahaprabhu, if we sing all glories to Gauranga, along with all his associates. So Bhakta Goshti Sahita, along with all the bhaktas, all the associates. Gauranga Jaya Jaya, if we sing Gauranga Jaya Jaya. Shuni Le Caitanya Katha Bhakti Lavahaya. So sing Jaya Jaya to all the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what else? Shuni Le Caitanya Katha. And we should always absorb ourselves in hearing Krishna Katha and hearing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Katha. Then Bhakti Lavahaya, then we'll get pure devotional service. So this is another, you can say a very easy method of achieving Krishna Prem. So of course, we have to chant offenselessly. There is no shortcut, but we have to also imbibe and absorb ourselves in hearing Krishna Katha, in hearing Chaitanya Katha. And this is the benediction given to us by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. He's saying that Suni Le Chaitanya Katha Bhakti Lavahaya. Very easily one will attain the pure devotional service. So if we want Krishna Prem, we should listen to Chaitanya Katha with ekachitta, with pure attention. Okay, so now we'll do another verse. Jaya Jaya Shri Karuna Sindhu Gaura Chandra, Jaya Jaya Shri Seva Vigraha Nityananda. So now we'll do text number 7. That is our verse for today. Brahmadira Spurati Haya Krishnera Kripaya Sarva Shastre Vede Bhagavata Egaya. So what Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying, that yes, we have to listen with rapt attention all the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying that if we listen, if we lend our ears, not to prajalpa, not to the mundane talks, but to the purifying, the para, supreme, punyam, purifying talks of Mahaprabhu, then we will get Krishna Prem. But how can we understand those pastimes? Should we just go dive deep into those subject matters and just relish those pastimes? Our Vedas or all our scriptures are so open that if we just go on, keep on reading on our own selves, then we will be able to absorb in Krishna Katha or Chaitanya Leela? Sort of no, because Vedas, and especially Srimad Bhagavatam, of course, Chaitanya Bhagavat, not different from Srimad Bhagavatam, have very, very deep meanings. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says in Chaitanya Charitamrita that, what's that verse? Sarvatulya Bhagavata Shastra. I'm not remembering, but the second line says, Nana Arthe Shastra Kai A Grantha. Like there are many meanings to this one syllable of Srimad Bhagavatam, very deep meanings. So on our own, we cannot get these meanings, right? Yeah, Prati Shloke Prati Akshre Nana Artha Kai. Right? Prati shloka, prati akshara, nana artha kai. There are a lot of different meanings to one shloka. What to talk about one shloka? Even one syllable of that shloka has different meanings. So on our own, we cannot just step into it and understand those leelas of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of Lord Sri Krishna. Why? Because these leelas are not the ordinary leelas. These are not the leelas of a mere mortal soul. These are transcendental. It's on a transcendental platform, right? So here, Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying that the knowledge of personalities like Lord Brahma is enhanced by the mercy of Lord Krishna. And this is confirmed in all the scriptures, such as Vedas and Srimad Bhagavatam. So we know that even Lord Brahma, who is the first creator, the first living entity who came out from the lotus that sprouted from the navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. He was there on the lotus. He don't know why he's there, for what purpose he is there, what he has to do, what is the purpose of his appearance. He knows nothing. He tries on his own, goes down deep into that stem of that lotus flower, but it was endless. He can't go to the next shore of it, not next end of it. And it was so deep that finally he came back on the lotus, sat on the lotus and started meditating. He heard the word tapaha and he started meditating. And it's Krishna who revealed him the purpose of his appearance, what he has to do, how he has to carry forward the secondary creation, right? So it's Krishna who reveals. And that's what Vrindavan Das Thakur, he is substantiating this line that Brahma Adira Spurati Haya. Even Lord Brahma doesn't know what to do and how to meditate and what is the purpose of his appearance on this lotus. He doesn't know, but Brahma Adira Spurati Haya, but it got manifested in the heart, right? How it got manifested? Krishnera Kripa, by the mercy of Lord Shri Krishna. Sarva Shastra Vede Bhagavata Ehi Gaya. And this has been proclaimed in every scripture, including Srimad Bhagavatam. And Vrindavan Das Thakur is substantiating this point by quoting a beautiful verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, which is from Canto 2, Chapter 4, verse number 22, which is the next verse, that is verse 8 of Chapter 2 of Chaitanya Bhagavad. He's saying, Prachodita yena pura saraswati vitanvastajya satim smritim hridi swalakshna prabhutir kilashyataha same rishi nam rishabha prasidatam. So what? This is from Canto number 2, chapter number 4, verse number 22. So here, what the context is, that in Canto 2, the appearance of Sukadev Goswami is there. So the entire Canto 1 of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is no mention of Sukadev Goswami. Only Suta Goswami is conversing with the rishis, with the sages of Naimisharanya, headed by Shaunaka Rishi, and along with him, all the other sages were there. So, but in Canto 2, the appearance of Sukadev Goswami is there. And here Sukadev Goswami is being asked by Parikshit Maharaj to enlighten him on the subject matter of Lord Shri Krishna, on the subject matter of the Supreme Lord. And Sukadev Goswami, before speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, he quotes this verse. And he says, may the Lord, who is the beginning of the creation, who basically amplified the potent knowledge of Brahma. So he's saying that even Brahma didn't know what to do. And Krishna amplified that potent knowledge in the heart of Brahma, from within the heart, and inspired him with the full knowledge of his creation. What is the purpose? What he has to do. And not only inspired him about his work of creation, but also reveals his own self. That who am I? Krishna also revealed his own self. So he is saying that similarly, I pray to that Supreme Lord who was so pleased on Brahma, may also be pleased on me, and may also reveal those truths of his Supreme Self so that I can deliver the same message to you, Parikshit Maharaj. So this way, Sukadev Goswami is praying to Lord Shri Krishna, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and praying in the way that just as you delivered and you enlightened Brahma in his meditation and revealed the reason for his creation, and also revealed the confidential parts of your own Supreme Self, the confidential activities of your own Supreme Self, in the same way, please, I also bow down that please reveal. And Prabhupada in his purport extensively writes that this is what the spiritual knowledge is. If we want some academic knowledge, we can go to school, college, universities, and we can get immense amount of literature present in those books that we can study and we can learn. But when it comes to spiritual knowledge, it has to be revealed. Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashita. It gets revealed in the heart of a devotee. And it gets revealed in the heart of whom? On whom Krishna desires. Because if Krishna doesn't want, no knowledge will be revealed. But if Krishna Kripa is there, that comes through the kripa of the spiritual master, then the devotee gets enlightened in this subject matter, in this spiritual matter. So how important it is that we also should take the blessings of our previous acharyas and also our spiritual masters, so that this transcendental knowledge of Lord Shri Krishna can be revealed in the heart. It has to be revealed. There is no institution where you just join, you get that knowledge, and that's it. No, it has to be revealed in the heart. Yes, we can do Bhakti Shastri, we can do Bhakti Vaibhav, we can do all different courses, but they all will be theoretical. The practical application can only be revealed in the heart of a devotee by the mercy, by Krishna Kripya, by mercy of Lord Shri Krishna, and by the mercy of a representative of Lord Shri Krishna, who is our spiritual master. So this is how, he explains that the Vedic knowledge has to be impregnated within the heart, just like it was impregnated in the heart of Brahma. Similarly, it has to be received. And therefore, all these Vedic knowledges are known as Apaurusha. Apaurusha means it has to be imparted. It is not imparted by any created being. It cannot be imparted. It is Apaurusha. It has to be revealed in the heart of a devotee, and that too with the mercy of Lord Shri Krishna. So Sukadev Goswami is also praying to the Lord that please, O Lord, inspire me from within so that I could rightly explain the facts and figures of your creation as being inquired by Parikshit Maharaj. So Prabhupada writes that a spiritual master is not a theoretical speculator like a mundane scholar, but he is Brahmanishtam. He has full nishtha onto the Supreme Lord, and therefore he meditates, it gets revealed, and pass on down to the line to the various disciples. Shri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, in the purport of this verse number 8, also substantiates this point, that how the knowledge was first of all revealed to Lord Brahma. It was revealed. The very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, which says, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Janmadyasya yato anvayati taras tas chartheshvu abhigna swarat, tene brahma hridaya adi kavaye muhyanti yat surya. So tene brahma adi kavaye, it got revealed in the heart of that Adi Kavi, who is Lord Brahma. It is he who this Vasudev, this Krishna, it is he who first imparted this Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Lord Brahma, the original living being. So he substantiates his point. Let's move forward. Then this same verse, Vrindavan Das Thakur writes in his beautiful Bengali language. Purve Brahma janmilena nabhi padma haite tathapi ha shakti nai kichu dekhite. Purve Brahma janmila. He's saying that in the beginning. So whatever, that verse of Srimad Bhagavatam is there, he writes it in his Bengali, language in a very poetic way. And he says, Purve Brahma janmilena nabhi padma haite. That in the beginning of the creation, that Lord Brahma, Janmilena, he appeared, he was born, Nabhi Padma Haite. He was born on that lotus flower, which sprouted from the navel of Lord Shri Vishnu, of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Nabhi Padma. The Nabhi means the navel, and Padma means lotus. Tathapi ha shakti nai kichu dekhite. But still, Lord Brahma had no Shakti, had no power to understand that what was the purpose of his appearance, what task he has to perform. And he has no power to see anything. He went down deep to that lotus stem, but it was all in vain. He couldn't find the end of it. तबे ये बे सर्वा भावे लईला शराना तभु प्रभु कृपया दिलेना दर्शना. And then what he did? Sharana, he surrendered. He has no power, but still he took shelter of that Supreme Lord. And then what happened? Tabe Prabhu Kripaya. Then Krishna, then the Supreme Lord, out of his compassion, Dilena Darshana, he appeared in front of Lord Brahma. Tabe Krishna Kripaya Spurila Lila Saraswati. Tabe na janila sarva avatara sthiti. And at that time, Tava Krishna Kripaya. It is very, very important. Why I am stressing on this point, Kripa. It's Krishna Kripa that is going to reveal his confidential things in the heart of a devotee. So as soon as Krishna appeared in front of Lord Brahma, then what Krishna? Tabhe Krishna Kripa. Then Krishna Kripa happened and Spuralila Saraswati. And by the mercy of the goddess of learning, all things got revealed in the heart of Brahmaji. It got revealed. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavai. It got revealed in the heart of that Adi Kavi Brahma. Tabe janila sarva avatara sthiti. And thus he could understand the various incarnations of that Supreme Lord. So that's how it got revealed in the heart of the devotees. And even why Vrindavan Das Thakur is pointing on to this revelation part, because in future he is going to narrate the beautiful childhood pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And if we don't hear it with faith, if we don't hear it with conviction, then we will be bewildered hearing those pastimes. So he is basically building up that foundation that we have to hear with ekachitta, with rapt attention and with full faith. Because those pastimes, yes, we'll read, we'll go through, but how much we'll be able to understand, how much revelation will come from those pastimes, that depends upon Krishna mercy. And therefore, he is building up that foundation that without Krishna mercy, even the original living being Brahmaji was worthless. He was worthless. But because Krishna Kripa happened, that entire knowledge of Krishna himself, and of course, for the purpose that he appeared, was revealed to him. So how important it is that we should also, just like Sukadev Goswami is praying, we should also pray in the mood of Sukadev Goswami, following in the footsteps that, oh my Lord, please let those pastimes be revealed in my heart. If you so desire, if your mercy happens, then definitely that revelation will come. You know, sometimes we say that, please share your realizations. Realizations is not just repeating what the speaker said. Realization is not what we read from the purports of Srila Prabhupada. Realizations happen when we really absorb those purports of Srila Prabhupada. Then the realizations comes. And this realizations doesn't come on its own. It has to be substantiated by Krishna's mercy. Without mercy of Krishna, these realizations, these revelations in the heart won't come. Realizations is not just repeating Prabhupada words. Realization is when we absorb Prabhupada words 100% in our heart, understand it under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master. Then by the mercy of spiritual master and with the mercy of Krishna Kripa, those revelations would come, those realizations would come, right? So Vrindavan Das Thakur is building up that foundation that in future when we are reading this Adi Khanda, the most beautiful pastimes, the childhood pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then, we should read it, we should understand it with rapt attention, with full faith, with full conviction, bowing down to our spiritual master, begging for his mercy. Only then those pastimes will be 100% understood by us. Text 12. Hena Krishna Chandrera Durigna Avatara Tana Kripa Vinikara Shakti Janivara. Hena Krishna Chandrera Durnegya Avatara. The pastimes, the incarnations of that Supreme Lord are very, very difficult to understand. Ta kripa vine kara shakti janabara. And one has no power to understand those pastimes without getting the mercy of Krishna's internal potency. Without the mercy of Krishna, we cannot understand these beautiful pastimes. The pastimes of Krishna are really incomprehensible. Krishna appears in a Matsya, in a low-class species. He appears as a boar incarnation. Pig of this material world is not considered auspicious, but Krishna chose that form of a boar incarnation. Why he chose? What was the reason? And why he came as Matsya Avatar? Why he came as a dwarf Brahmana? What was the reason? All these revelations will come when we have the mercy of Krishna, when we have Krishna Kripa. Only then all these Leela Avataras, these Yoga Avataras, these Shaktavesha Avataras, everything will be revealed in the heart of a devotee. Text 13. Achintya agamya Krishna avatara leela sai Brahma Bhagavate apana kahila. Very beautifully Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying that Achintya agamaya Krishna avatara leela. That Krishna's pastimes are inconceivable. They are achintya. Then they are agamaya. They are inaccessible also. And that is being substantiated by Lord Brahma in Srimad Bhagavatam, where Lord Brahma says, text 14, Ko veti bhuman bhagavan pratmam yogeshwarotra bhavatastrilokyam kvava kathamva kativa kadeti vistaryan krideshi yoga mayam. What he says, kava kathamva kativa kadyativa. So he's saying, like all questions he's putting, that how can we understand, how can we understand through our body, mind, and words, all that you have, that your incarnations, your pure devotees, why you have come in this world, what is the reason, what is the purpose, what is the internal reason, what is the external reason, how can we understand? But a devotee who has 100% surrender unto the Supreme Lord, who has taken shelter of the Supreme Lord 100%, then can understand all these confidential things about Krishna's pastimes. Why? Because Krishna, who is unconquerable, gets conquered by the love and devotion of that devotee. So when Krishna it's being conquered by the love and devotion, then definitely there is nothing confidential left. Krishna is just like an open book for his pure devotees. And Krishna's pastimes, his qualities, everything gets revealed in the heart of his pure devotees. And Vrindavan Das Thakur writes, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in the purport of this verse, I'll just read, that Sridhar Swami, who is the original commentator of Srimad Bhagavatam, explains that why does the Supreme Independent Lord appear in a low-born species like Matsya? Why does the Lord exhibit a humble act of begging in his Vamana incarnation? Why did Krishna run away from that battle? Why he is known as Ranachor? By addressing this, it is understood that the pastimes of the Lord are incomprehensible and inconceivable. It cannot be understood with our conditioned minds. It has to be purified. It has to be purified before we try to understand. And this text 15, he says, Kona hetu Krishna Chandra kare avatara kara shakti aiche tatva jani te tahara. So he's saying, Kona hetu, who can understand Krishna Chandra kare avatara, that the incarnation or the manifestation of Lord Shri Krishna in this material world, who can understand that pastimes? Nobody can understand. Kare Shakti Aiche Tattva Jani Te Tahara. That can only be possible when Krishna bestows his causeless mercy, when the mercy aspect of Krishna is there on the devotee, then yes, it can be understood. Otherwise, no one can understand that why he appeared, what was the reason. And then Vrindavan Das Thakur says that yes, nobody can understand, but as per Srimad Bhagavatam, as per Srimad Bhagavad Gita, there are specific reasons that is given of appearance of Lord Shri Krishna. He says, Tathapi Shri Bhagavate Gita Yekaya Taha Likhi Ye Nimitte Avatarahaya. That still he says that it has to be revealed, no doubt about it. But still, I am giving whatever reasons are described as per Srimad Bhagavat and as per Bhagavad Gita. So we all know those two verses from Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. One of the reasons of Krishna's appearance described in Bhagavad Gita that Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur quotes is Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Krishna himself says, O Arjuna, as and time, yada yada, as per the time, whenever and wherever, dharmasya glanir. Glanir means destroyed. When dharma gets destroyed, then what happens? So it's just like a bean balance. You have seen that bean balance? So when you put a heavy weight on one side, the other side goes up. And when you put the other heavy weight on this side, then this side goes up. So, it depends upon the weight we are putting it into that bean balance. So here, Krishna is saying, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. That now what happened is, dharma glanir is happening, means the destruction of dharma is happening. So when the destruction of dharma happens, then dharma goes down. And then what goes up? Aphyuttanam adharmasya. Then what rises? Adharma rises. And then tadatmanam srijamyam. And when that adharma rises, then to balance that out, I come as avatar. I take the form. I descend myself. So here, Vrindavan Das Thakur is quoting one of the reasons why Krishna appears. So here, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur expands on the word adharma, that what is adharma? And he quotes one of the verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, which is quoted by Narad Muni to Yudhishthir Maharaj in the 7th canto. And he says, Vidharma paradharmascha abhasa upama chalaha adharma shakta panchema dharmogne adharmavat tyajet. So he is describing 5 types of irreligion, the 5 branches of irreligion, which are known as first itself known as irreligion, that is vidharma, forbidden religion. Religion that proclaims to be God conscious, but performs all those forbidden activities of meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, and gambling. So that first is irreligion. Just superficially talks about something about God, but doesn't focus, and while focus only on those forbidden activities. So that is irreligion. That is first, that is vidharma. The second one is, which is definitely not fit for the age, and that is that is known as paradharma. Then is pretentious religion, abhas hona kisi cheez ka, right? To get a shadow of a religion, that is pretentious religion, and that is third, which is abhas. Then is analogical religion, putting your own speculation, putting your own analysis and establishing it as a religion, that is upadharma, right? Which is also irreligion. And the 5th one is the cheating religion, that is chaladharma. Just cheating innocent people and driving money, their time, their resources in the name of religion. That is the chaladharma. But we know that our Srimad Bhagavatam, right in the 1st canto of the 1st chapter in the 2nd verse says, Dharma projita kai tavo atra paramo nirmatsaram satam. He says that this Srimad Bhagavatam rejects all kind of these cheating religions, all kind of upadharma, chaladharma, pretentious, abhasa, Everything is rejected in Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam rejects all kind of these irreligion, right? These irreligions are to be given up. It says, right? Tajet dharmogno dharmavatyajet. In order to establish oneself, in order to reveal ourselves with the real religious religion, we have to give up all those so-called irreligion, so-called religions. All these irreligions, so-called religions in the namesake, has to be given up in order to understand the real religion. And our Bhagavad Gita says, Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraj. So he gives what is the real religion, that give up all kind of upadharma, chaladharma, and other dharmas. Give up all kind of these external irreligions and establish yourself into that paradharma. And that paradharma is the religion of Supreme. Sarva dharman parityaja. Give up all kind of so-called dharmas. And mamekam sharanam vraj. Establish yourself just in surrenderance to me. Accept me as the original supreme dharma. And he gives how to do it. Manmana mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. That you have to surrender unto me. Surrender unto me, pay homage to me, offer respects to me, bow down to me, offer to me. This is how you are going to accept, and the real religion will be revealed. Right? What is that real religion? This is what the real religion is. Savai pumsa paro dharma yato bhakti radhokshaje. Ahituki apratihata yayatma suprasiddhati. That is the paradharma. That is the supreme religion. What is that? Supreme religion for all the pumsam, for all the persons, for all the living entities. And that is the supreme person. Yato bhaktir adhokshaja. When we offered loving devotional service to that supreme Lord who is adhokshaja. What is the meaning of adhokshaja? Adhokshaja. Adha means down or to fail, right? Like in the 15th chapter also it says, right? What does the first word says? Would anyone unmute themselves?
Urdhva
moolam adhashakam. That means the roots are upwards. That shadow of that tree, the transcendental tree of that spiritual world, when it is seen in the material world, urdhva moolam. What we see, the roots are upwards and the branches are downwards. Adhashakam. Adha means downwards. So adhokshaje, adha means down, fail, or you can say fail to understand. Aksha means eyes. So when we fail to perceive the pastimes, the qualities of that Supreme Lord, when our eyes, when our senses, when we cannot perceive that Supreme Lord with our eyes, that Supreme Lord itself is known as Adhokshaje, one who cannot be perceived from material senses. That is the meaning of Adhokshaje. There is another meaning by His Holiness Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj. He'll say, Adhokshaje means, Adha means fail, or who doesn't down, it doesn't cross through. And Akshaja, and Ksha. So in Sanskrit Varnmala, it starts with A and it ends with Ksha. There is a K-S-H-A, Ksha, like we say is Kaksha, Raksha, that Ksha. Those who know Hindi or a little bit of Sanskrit can understand. So it starts with A and ends with Ksha. So someone who cannot fall into this Varnmala, into these words of vocabulary, is Adhokshaja. Who doesn't fall into this category of this Varnmala, who doesn't fall between A and Ksha, is Adhokshaja. So he is supreme, he is beyond this understanding of this material conception. So we have to offer devotional service, loving devotional service unto that Supreme Lord who is Adhokshaja. And how we have to do? Ahituki apratihata yayatma suprasiddhati. That devotional service has to be performed unmotivated and uninterrupted. These are the 2 points. Unmotivated means without any motivation, without any reservation. I'm chanting Krishna's name because fill in the blanks. You can fill anything. That means it's a motivation. Even if we are chanting to go back home, back to Godhead, still there is a motivation, right? So I am chanting the Supreme Lord's holy names because the moment you put because, it becomes a motivation. That motivates you, that enthuses you to chant. So there is a enthusement. There is an enthusement that that helps us to understand that why we are chanting, right? So the moment we add because to it, it becomes motivated. But devotional service has to be unmotivated. It doesn't have to be motivated with any kind of reasons. Then apratihata, then it has to be uninterrupted. Whether it rains, whether it shines, whether it snows, we have to perform devotional service, no matter what. If we have to wake up early in the morning, that means we have to wake up early in the morning to chant our rounds, no matter we sleep at 2 o'clock, no matter we sleep at 1 o'clock, no matter we sleep at whatever time. But if we have to wake up, if we want Krishna Prem, we cannot surpass that Brahma Muhurta time. Now, Brahma Muhurta is very, very important. When we chant, we should chant our rounds. It's very, very important. The Brahma Muhurta time should not be wasted, no matter what. We have to align our days and nights. We have to align, that's for sure. Chanting Krishna's name doesn't start early in the morning. The preparation to chant Krishna's name starts the night before. What type of food we are honoring, how much belly we are filling it up. Will I be able to wake up? First of all, will I be able to sleep properly, have a nice sleep, have a sound sleep, so that I can wake up fresh in the morning? So it starts the night before. So the planning starts the night before, when we have to chant Krishna's name. And then that has to be replaced by want. So initially it will be have, in order, because right now we are in the sadhaka stage. We are not that onto a pure platform. We are not Gudakesh, that we have conquered our ignorance and conquered our sleep. So we have to be in a regulation form, right? We have to be regulated in our eating and in our sleeping. And then we will be able to wake up. And then we'll say that, okay, because I have to chant my rounds early in the morning, so the preparation is starting the night before. But eventually, when we get into the habit of waking up early in the morning and chanting our rounds, then that have is converted into want. Then it comes that, oh, I want to chant Krishna's name early in the morning, right? So that have gets converted into want. So it has to be apratihata. It has to be uninterrupted as far as possible. We have to make our schedule in such a way so that our chanting, our devotional service is uninterrupted. And then yayatma suprasiddhati. It has to be performed not for my pleasure, that today I have chanted my rounds. Wow, what a blissful day. No, that chanting has to be done for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Whether I feel happy or not, whether I feel fatigue or not, whether I am I'm stretching myself or not, I'm stressing myself or not, that's secondary. But what we have to do is for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, to satisfy the Supreme Lord. Yayatma suprasiddhati. And then Vrindavan Das Thakur, oh, it's already 11:57. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I was just carried away. And then Vrindavan Das Thakur quotes, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapnarthaya sambhavani yuge yuge, gives 3 reasons of Krishna's appearance. Paritranaya sadhunam, to deliver the pious people. Vinashaya cha dushkritam, to annihilate the miscreants, the demoniac people. And dharma samsthapnarthaya, to establish dharma. Sambhavani yuge yuge, I appear myself millennium after millennium. But Sukadeva Goswami says that these are all the external reasons, right? What it takes Krishna to protect the devotees. Does he have to personally come? What to talk about him? Even the empowered devotees of Krishna have the power to protect the sadhus. So why Krishna has to come? No. And to annihilate the miscreants, Krishna has to come? No, Krishna doesn't have to come to annihilate the miscreants. He can give one heart attack to Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyakashipu is gone. He gives one heart attack to Hiranyaksha and Hiranyaksha is gone, right? But he comes. That's the external reason. And to establish the principles of dharma. To establish the principles of dharma, even his pure devotees can do it. So Krishna doesn't have to personally come and to do all these activities, but he comes out of compassion, he comes. So these are all the external reasons. But what is the most confidential reason why Krishna comes? Because Krishna is selfish. Krishna is a person. Krishna is a personality. He wants to establish that relationship with his devotees. And therefore, Sukadeva Goswami says, Anugrahaya bhaktana manushya deham ashritam bhajate tadrishi krida yah shrutva tat paro bhavet. That just to show mercy, anugraha, to his bhaktanam, to his devotees, manushya deham ashritam, he accepts this human form of life. Bhajate tadrishi krida. And just because when he comes and he performs some pastimes and then we sing those pastimes and we glorify him, that helps us to become pure. So just to give mercy on us so that he performs some pastimes and later we sing those pastimes and we glorify him, Krishna comes. That's the internal confidential reason why Krishna comes. So what is the confidential reason? So that we become purified. We become glorious by singing his glories, right? That's the reason is given. So any pure or simple-hearted person who hears the narrations of the loving affairs of Krishna will be attracted to the lotus feet of the Lord. So because we should sing those pastimes and because we should get attracted to Krishna's lotus feet more and more, Krishna comes, gradually comes millennium after millennium in every yuga. And, so that we become his devotee. That's what Prabhupada says. Text number 19 and 20. So the same two verses, that is Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya and Paritranaya Sadhunam, these two verses which are quoted in Bhagavad Gita, then Vrindavan Das Thakur writes in his Bengali form, in his Bengali sweet words, Dharma para bhava haya yakhane yakhane adharma prabalta bade dine dine dine. What he says, when dharma's prabhav, when the impact, when the influence of dharma goes down, yakhane, then adharma prabalta, then what happens? Adharma prabal ho jata hai. It becomes more potent. Sadhu jana raksha dushta vinasha karane brahma adi prabhu rapai kari vigpane. Then when adharma rises, then what happens? Sadhu jana raksha, to protect his devotees. Dushta vinasha karane, to annihilate the miscreants. Brahma adi prabhu rapai kare vignana. Then the demigods headed by Lord Brahma, they go and pray to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord to please come and protect the sadhus and annihilate the miscreants. So they go to the shore of Milk Ocean, to Shvetadvip, and call out to Shirodakshai Vishnu to please help us so that these miscreants can be killed and the sadhus can be protected. So sadhu jana raksha dushya vinasha karane, Krishna appears. Text 21. Tabhe prabhu yuga dharma sthapana karite sangopange avatirna hana prithivite. And then what happens? Yuga dharma palan, for the protection, for establishing the yuga dharma, sthapane, to establish that yuga dharma. Then Krishna comes sangopange, through his entire entourage, through his paraphernalia, avatirna, he incarnates hana prithvite, on the Mother Earth. Then Lord appears in this material world with his associates, with his entourage, with his paraphernalia, in order to re-establish the principles of religion. And we know that what is the principle, what is the Yuga Dharma of Kali Yuga? What is the Yuga Dharma? Is chanting the holy name. Kritayad dhayato Vishnum, Tretayam yajato makham, Dwapare paricharayam, Kalau tad dhatri kirtanat. In the 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that whatever self-realization happens in the heart of the devotees, or whatever results that are being obtained, actually in Satyuga, it was obtained due to meditation, the process of dhayato, sitting in meditation. Treta yam yajato makhe, but in Treta, it happens by performing sacrifices. And then Dwapare paricharayam, in Dwapar, by serving the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, that is deity worship. But in Kali Yuga, Dhatri Kirtanat, it happens only by simply taking shelter of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And that's the reason, that's the most important reason why our dear Sachinandan Gaurahari, our Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Avatirna, he took his appearance, he appeared in this material world to establish his Yoga Dharma. Kali Yoga Dharma hai Hari Sankirtana etad arthe avatirna Sri Sachinandana. This religious principle, to establish this religious principle in this age of Kali, which is what? Congregational chanting of the holy name. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu establishes, he incarnates and he established this principle. Now this is not the Nitya Leela of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to establish the congregational chanting in the Kali Yuga. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes that this is his Naimittika Leela. That was his external reason, his Naimittika Leela. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he comes for, he is regarded as Naimittika Leela avatar and Nitya Leela avatar also. So it's combined together. Why Nitya Leela avatar? Because Mahaprabhu comes to experience Radha Bhav, to experience what my devotee goes through. My supreme dearmost devotee, what she goes through. To experience that, Mahaprabhu comes. That is his internal, hidden, confidential reason. But there is a Naimittika reason. There is an external reason, which is temporary, right? Like, for example, I'll give you an example. Like this Narsingha Dev Bhagwan comes. So Narsingha Dev Bhagwan comes to kill Hiranyakashipu, right? And to protect his devotee Prahlad. But that is his Naimittika Leela. In his original Vaikuntha planet, he is not killing Hiranyakashipu, right? He is in his Aishwarya Bhav. That is his Nitya Leela. But when he comes to this material world, he comes for his Naimittika Leela to kill Hiranyakashipu. Varahadev comes to bring back earth onto its orbit and to kill Hiranyaksh. These are all the Naimittika Leelas. Similarly, Mahaprabhu has his own Ashtakala Leela. Just like Krishna Chandra in Vrindavan has its own Ashtakala Leela. Similarly, Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also has his own Ashtakala Leela in Navadvip, which is the part of that Golok Vrindavan. There he is chanting, but there the separation is definitely, it's there, but not to an extent. So all his Gambhira pastimes, it's all Naimittika Leela, where he wants to show that how a devotee has to behave, or how a devotee goes through when he's totally absorbed in Krishna Bhav, in Radha Bhav. So all these Leelas are Naimittika Leela. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita writes that when was the time for Mahaprabhu to appear in his Nitya Leela also coincided with the time when he has to establish this Yoga Dharma, which is Naimittika Leela. So the both time coincided and Mahaprabhu Avatirana, and Mahaprabhu incarnated, and Mahaprabhu came into this world. So Kali Yoga Dharma hai Hari Sankirtana. To establish this congregational chanting, Mahaprabhu came as the son of Mother Sachi, known as Sri Sachinandana. Sri Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai. So how he comes and what forms he takes and who comes along with this, what are his weapons in this Kali Yuga, that we will deal with tomorrow. So next speaker will deal on this subject matter, that how he comes and with whom he comes, with what weapons he carry, that will be dealt tomorrow. Okay, so thank you all so much. We will stop here. And I'm sorry I took a little more time. I don't know, somehow in between I was just carried away. But thank you so much for your patiently listening. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, these carried away moments are very, very sweet. Thank you so much. A few things that I wanted to say from your class. One is when you were talking about realization really comes out from the heart. And I often think of Panishwari Lakshmi Mataji, who shares some amazing realizations. It's not really repeating the purport, which I usually do. It is something different. At the same time, it is in line with what the acharyas also say. So that is like the perfect realization. And of course, many others. I just gave Panishwari Mataji's name because it just came to my mind. But I know many of us in the group are like that. And then one interesting thing that I was thinking as you were reading from the purport and the verses is about how this is a setting like the initial few verses, they're giving us a foundation to have that strong faith in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. You did mention about, sometimes one may think, why should the Lord take the form of a pig or a fish or whatever? But this foundation verses, they really make a serious, they give us a foundation, they give us a way to think about the Lord's pastime in a very serious way, because he's not even started telling about the Lord's pastimes. And I was thinking of Prabhupada initially when he established the Krishna consciousness movement, and they had Gaur Nitai deities in the front, like actually they were like huge, what do you call them? Those huge placard kind of thing. They had that in the beginning of the yatra, and then there were people asking, "Oh, who's that?" And some people said, "Oh, that's God." But then, "Oh, God doesn't look like this. This looks like human beings." And then Prabhupada was like, have you really seen God? How can you even comment like that? This is God. So, I was just thinking about it. Such a valid thing, right? Like when we see, when before we head out into Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, definitely without having that foundation or whatever, we tend to think, oh, maybe this is not even God, some saint like that. So these verses, they really lay that foundation, and it was so nicely explained by you. And I was also thinking as you were talking that Vrindavan Das Thakur probably focused more on the internal reasons of the Lord's pastimes than the external reasons, because we see that his later pastimes are not really so much relished, but the early childhood pastimes, which is happening eternally in Navadvip, is the one that he has focused on, which is the sweet side of Chaitanya Bhagavat. And also about the timing Mahaprabhu chose. That was the last probable verse that you spoke about. It's interesting because in that time he is able to both relish internal and external reasons, and it's so beautiful because it was just after Krishna's pastimes in the beginning of Kali, and they say that only once in a day of Brahma Krishna appears, and right after him Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears in a day of Brahma. So it makes so much sense, right? That's when he's able to capture that relishing the internal mood, and at the same time also propagating the dharma for that Kali Yuga, the 28th Kali Yuga. So beautiful, so beautiful. So thank you so much. When you speak, things slowly fall in place, and we're able to make sense out of many things. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Preeti Vilasni. This is what realization is. This is what the realization is. Yes. And yes, you rightly said about Panishwari Mataji, when I love the way she puts the words into, and she just say, I really like it. Thank you, Preeti Vilasni Mataji, for giving this opportunity. Otherwise, I would have never read Chaitanya Bhagavat in that detail.
It's all yours, Mataji. I don't give.
But see, when you were not there, I was not keeping myself in spot and somehow not getting any kind of...
Yeah, we need each other. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Kirtida Sundari Mataji, my downwards pranam to you. Thank you so much, Mataji, for the beautiful class and your wonderful association. Thank you for sharing and singing the bhajan so beautifully on Sri Natam Das Thakur Appearance Day. Sri Natam Das Thakur ki jai. I also liked when you mentioned, Mataji, how important it is when we chant. We have to be so attentively and, not doing any aparadh and submerge ourselves in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes with full faith, attentively, and observe ourselves, because that's the only way to attain the Lordship. And you stressed on the need, the Lord Krishna's mercy. Only when we have Lord Krishna's mercy, Kripa, His confident pastimes can be revealed to the pure devotee's heart. Thank you so much for a wonderful class, Mataji. Hare Krishna, my Dhanavad pranams to you. Dear devotees, if you have any realizations or any questions, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much for this wonderful class again, Mataji. It was so nectarian as always. You and Priti Vilasini, Mataji, your classes are always amazing. One personal thing I just thought. It's just my personal thinking that whenever we chant, it's at least at my level, it's so not possible that I can be pure or my chanting can be totally niraprad. But I think that by chanting the Panchatattva Mahamantra, we are actually, begging for mercy and we are begging for forgiveness. Even that if we are, making any mistakes while chanting or any mispronunciations, then like how Mahaprabhu took away the sins of Jagai and Madhai, may he take away my sins also, and I like beg for forgiveness, because I don't know, I can be completely niraprad at any level, at least at this point of time. So this is just my personal feeling while chanting and sitting down to chant, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for stretching that point. Yes. Even Vrindavan Das Thakur in Chaitanya Bhagavat, later it will come, where he says that Gaura Nama, Gaura Dhama, Gaura Rupa Gun, Aparade Mane Nahi Tare Re Nipun. That Gaura Mahaprabhu's Dham, that is Navadvip Dham, Gaura Mahaprabhu's name we call out. And Gaura Rup, and the form of Gauranga, doesn't take care of any aparadas. He doesn't consider. And Tarite Nipun, and he doesn't even forgive our offenses, but he also uplifts us in Krishna Prem. So,
Mataji, I feel like, when the father chastises the child immediately runs to the mother, because, he knows that, the mother will actually hold him and grab him and, make the father grant the mercy. So like going to the feet of, especially Nityananda Prabhu, you feel that, you will be protected and you'll be saved from the chastisement of, making so many aparads while chanting. It's just that feeling, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams to you.
Thank you, Parima Mataji. Dandavat pranams.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. This is a couple of things. One is, you were saying that realization is not just about reading and parroting, just that theoretical knowledge. It's a matter of absorption. So I was wondering if you could elaborate on that. Because, when I think of, there's two things that I think about when I think about realization. I think definitely it's not just theoretical, but I also feel like there's realization is like a range, like not either you have it or you don't, there's increasing levels of realization. And there's also like that realization where, it's practically like an experience, it's just like, I think a common analogy is, seeing pizza or knowing the recipe for pizza versus tasting pizza, so that is there also, besides, it being a continuum, but it's also like an experience. But when you said it's like is an absorption, I felt like I didn't totally get what you meant by that word.
I think, Gaurangi Mataji, that you got it the better way, as I explained. While explaining, I couldn't explain properly, but the way you said makes total sense. So you got it in a better way. That yes, first of all, realizations is not just having a realization or not having a realization, but it's a range where our realizations also get enhanced, right? From 1 to 10, and so and so forth. Realization comes when we are absorbed, means when we, as you said, when we taste Krishna Katha, not through our tongue, but through our ears. When we taste that Krishna Katha, then realization comes. I'll give you one example as you talk about prasadam. There is a very new devotee, a new person, I should say, who doesn't know, and he comes around 12 o'clock noontime in the temple. What he sees is that the curtains are closed, and that person only knows that there is a lordship, there is a murti, archa vigraha. He doesn't know that he is non-different from the Supreme Lord. But that person only knows that, there is a form, there is a Supreme Lord, there is a murti there, and he came to just take darshan. But he apparently happened to come around 12 o'clock noontime, curtains are closed. Now he knows that he comes to know by some other person that a bhoga is being offered, and therefore the curtains are closed. So that's one type of thing, realization he gets to a very initial stage, that okay, somebody has prepared some bhoga, some food items, and that they are offering it to the Lord, they are giving it to the Lord. And once the time limit will be over, the darshan will be opened. This is the first realization. On the second type, the pujari who is offering the bhoga to the Supreme Lord, and of course the pujari who has, the cook who has made that bhoga for the Supreme Lord, knows, okay, this and all this thing has been offered to the Supreme Lord. Some puri, some halwa, some sabzi, some curry, some raita, some sweet, some juice, some milks, everything is being offered to the Supreme Lord. So he knows. That is one type of another realization, that he gets to know that what Krishna likes and how that is being cooked, and with how much love and devotion that pujari offers. Third comes when you taste that Krishna prasadam, right? When we taste that Krishna prasadam, then we get mercy of Krishna. Then we get to know what Krishna tasted, and how that prasadam, that bhoga, is mixed with the saliva of Krishna and becomes so immensely palatable and sweet and wonderful preparation. That's the third type of realization. This analogy, what I mean to say is, as you said, there are different range of realization as per the person who we are. A new devotee just know that something food is being offered. Pujari or a cook knows what is the process, what is being offered, how it is being made. The third one, who is really tasting that Krishna prasadam, gets the real mercy, because now he is directly in touch with Krishna prasadam. So this is what is realization. And what I said is absorption, is that you have to completely absorb. Means when we read the purports of Srila Prabhupada, when we read the purports of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, then we are reading. Yes, we are reading. We are trying to understand. But sometimes, I don't know it happens with you or not, but it happens with me, that when I read, somehow I get lost. Even though I'm reading it with full attention, somehow I don't get it. Then I reread it. Then I again, it happens that one paragraph I have to read 3-4 times in order to really absorb what Prabhupada means to say. That kind of absorption we need in order for the realizations to happen. No matter that realization may be from 1 to 10 at any range, but even that to happen, we need little bit of absorption in Krishna Katha. Otherwise, it won't come. Hope that helps, Gaurangi Mataji.
Yes, when you put it like that, it reminded me of the fact that, as you've been saying throughout the class, Krishna reveals, so if we absorb ourselves, if he sees that we're putting that kind of endeavor into trying to understand him, then what will happen was that he will reciprocate with that endeavor to absorb ourselves by revealing the truth of what we're reading.
Yes.
Mm.
It gets revealed. It gets revealed.
Yeah.
Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashita. This transcendental knowledge gets revealed and revealed.
Yeah. That helps. The light bulb that went off for me was that, the absorption inspires Krishna to reveal himself, reciprocate with revelation. Yeah. Actually, I just had one other quick thing. When I wasn't following properly when you were breaking down the word adoksha, like in the beginning, in the front part you have and the back part you have the suffix, let's say, and in the middle, is like you fall in between. So can you repeat that explanation?
Yes, I'll tell you. So adhokshaja, adha means down, adha means fail, and aksha means eyes, and ja means right, to take birth or to happen. So something that we cannot perceive, that we fail to perceive through our eyes is Krishna. Right? When we fail to perceive through our material senses is Krishna. So Krishna is adhokshaja. Why? Because we cannot perceive Krishna through our material senses. That's the first meaning. The second meaning I was talking about, that His Holiness Gaur Govind Maharaj says, is that a and ksha. Aksha, he breaks into two syllables, a and ksha. So in Sanskrit, the whole vocabulary, like we have in English, A, B, C, D, A to Z. So what in English is A to Z, in Sanskrit, it is a to ksha, right? Mm-hmm. So something that doesn't fall, adha means also to fall or to fail or to down. Then adha, who doesn't fall in this one, in this vocabulary from A to Z, from a to ksha, is Krishna, is adhokshaja, because we cannot make him limited by putting him into these vocabulary beyond that. So he's adhokshaja.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dhanyavad Pranaam. Thank you so much. Such a beautiful class, and we speak with so much of authority, Mataji, and like our Guru Vargas, and that is so nice, because fallen souls like me, then it becomes, oh no, Mataji is saying with so much of conviction, must be something in it. So thank you so much for that. One thing, when you were saying that about conditioning, like I chant because, the moment there is because, there is some sort of a conditioning, which I totally get. But at the same time, I was also thinking, like His Grace Mahatma Prabhu in his Japa affirmations, he writes, right, one of the affirmation is, I chant because I want to please Krishna, Radha Krishna. In that case, it is a condition, but it is something that we are supposed to do. So how do I understand this too, Mataji? I don't know. Did I put my question clearly?
Thank you, Mataji. First of all, I would give a disclaimer that that authority was not from me. That authority was from the Guru Vargas. I was just repeating, parroting whatever they said, whatever I learned from them. Second disclaimer is that it's all theoretical. Don't expect if I'm saying something, then that means I'm on that level. I'm still not on that level, but I'm just parroting what I heard. So that doesn't give me the authority to say that I practice what I preach. Okay, now your second part comes is that because, yes, when Mahatma Prabhu, even I attended his Japa affirmations, and I do have the 10 listed Japa affirmations chart that he normally gives when you attend his Japa sessions. There it says, I chant because I want to establish a relationship with Radha and Krishna. I chant because I want to please Radha and Krishna. These becauses are not the cause of our chanting, but are the basis of chanting. You're getting my point? The language, the word may be used because, no doubt about it, but it is the foundation of our chanting. Our chanting is to please Radha and Krishna. Our chanting is to beg to engage us in their service. Our chanting is to establish our relationship with Radha and Krishna. But when we add some mundane becauses to it, I chant because my son is sick. I chant because I want to go back to Krishna. I chant because I have some issues in my life and I want to get rid of this. I chant because I want liberation. I want to get rid of this material life, which is dukhalya mashashatam. I want to get rid. That's why I chant. All these things, all these becauses are the cause of our chanting. And thus, it should not be there. But when this cause becomes the basis of our chanting, then yes, it can be accepted. Hope that helps.
Completely, Mataji. Thank you. Very satisfying. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat pranams, Mataji. Okay, we have one question from Vaishnavi Haripriya Mataji. One question: how do we know if our mind or Krishna is inspiring from within? Very good question. And simple answer is that whenever we get an answer of our question, if it is aligned to Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, then we should understand that it is Paramatma who is there in our heart is guiding. And if it is not aligned to Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, then we should understand that it's our whimsical speculation. It's our mind who is playing the role. It's our mind who is trying to trick us. But if all our answers, the questions we have, if the answers we get, if it is aligned to Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, then yes, we should understand that it is Krishna, it is Paramatma who is inspiring us from within. Hope that helps, Mataji. And welcome to the call. Very happy to have you today. Okay, I don't see any other questions. Anything else? Yes, Vrinda Gopika Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam, Shri Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev Ki Jai, Shri Radha Gopinath Ki Jai. As usual, Mataji, when you are explaining Leela, we are not qualified to enter in that Leelas, but by your mercy, Mataji, we feel that Leela. And yes, Mataji, if we are doing, sometimes there is a seva from senior Vaishnava up to 10:30 or 11 o'clock, but we have to get up early in the morning for Japa, Mataji. And our Japa is attentively, then directly its effect, whatever seva, we should not proud that whatever seva is given to us, that is the by mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, our Guru Parampara, and Srimati Shri Radharani, Shri Nityananda, and Gauranga's mercy. We are not Radharani's Leela, but by the mercy of our Guru Parampara, 6 Goswami and Srila Prabhupada, we can explain little bit by that mercy. And yes, Mataji, Brahma Murata Japa, if I miss 2 or 3 rounds, Mataji, sometimes because of evening seva, then it is going on afternoon, and that quality is not good. Hari Hari Gauranga Mataji, Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam. Day by day, Mataji, we get the rasa from your class, Mataji. This is special mercy of Gurudev and Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Vrinda Gopika Mataji. Thank you for your additions and thank you for being on the call. I know you are not driving, but I don't know whether you are driving or not. But thank you for always being there and always guiding us, inspiring us, enthusing us, encouraging us. So thank you so much. But I'll give one disclaimer here also, that when I said that no matter what, we have to wake up early in the morning and chant, not on the cost of our health. If some days are really hectic and we can't avoid it, then it's okay that, we should not torture ourselves. Bottom line, I should say, I'll not say anything what we should do, what we should not do. That's again up to all of us individual, because we have a different body and we have a different tolerance power. But the point is, as far as possible, don't miss this Brahma Muhurta time, but definitely not on the cost of your health, where you risk your health, you put your health into jeopardize, and then you chant. No, definitely not on that cost, but try to schedule our days, try to facilitate our days in such a way so that we have ample of sleep, nice sound sleep, and also we have time for our morning japa. So the more we pray, the more we really sincerely pray to divine couple, then they will definitely facilitate us, they will reciprocate us with our sincerity, and our schedule will be aligned in such a way. So that's just an addition I want to say. But as you said that, the major number of rounds, the major chunk of our rounds should be in the Brahma Muhurta, because that becomes an armor for us. See, when a soldier goes out, he wears an armor, right? Because he has to fight. So similarly, when the day starts, every moment is a fight. We are fighting with the material world. We are fighting with the three modes of material nature. We are in mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. Every moment is a fight, right? We go out for the work. We have to deal with our colleagues, with the material world. So why not wear that armor of sincere chanting of holy name? Even though if it is not 100% our prescribed rounds, but major chunk should be done in the morning, so that we have the strength to deal with the material world. So that's the point. And if we miss, as you said, if the day passes by and if we chant late, then it's just the number. The Sakshi Mala just goes down without having a deep faith in the holy name. It just goes down. So that has to be avoided as far as possible. But yes, I remember His Grace Adi Gadadhar Prabhu once said, he quoted, I think so, I don't know from whom, but he said that a round that is not chanted is worse than the round that is badly chanted. So even if we are chanting in the 9 o'clock some days, which are really hectic, and we have to chant late in the night, then better to chant those rounds rather not to chant at all. So the prescribed number of rounds should be completed within that span of 24 hours. But there is always gradations that how we chant. The best rounds, good rounds, better rounds, okayish rounds, and the worst rounds. But even if it is a worst round, it has to be completed rather than not chanting at all. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. The koti dandavat pranam. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Kirtida Sundari Mataji. My name is Neha. I have a question.
Mataji, you are muted.
Neha Mataji, I can barely hear you. Can you come closer to the microphone? Okay, go ahead. I'll try.
Mataji, the more the rounds we chant,
when we chant,
the more rounds we do, what happens to us?
The more rounds we do,
what happens to us? Will it be better to us?
Okay, I didn't get her question properly. What I heard is that what happens when we chant more?
Yes.
Okay, if that's the question, what happens when we chant more?
Yeah.
When we chant more, we get taste in chanting.
Okay.
Prabhupada used to say the real chanting starts after 16 rounds. Till 16 rounds is just the 33% of passing marks. Suppose if you have to enter an exam, how much results you are expecting? Naturally, we expect 100%. But if we get 33%, do we pass? Yes, we pass. But are we eligible to get a good job in the material world? No, because we just get 33% passing marks. So 16 rounds is just like 33% passing marks or 40% passing marks. Above that, whatever we do is our endeavor, right? And when we put our sincere endeavor, then the more marks we get, the more good job we can expect in the material world. Similarly, when experience, I don't know, many of you must have experienced, then when we chant 64 rounds or more than that on a particular day, our tongue never stops. Never stops. I have experienced this. When you chant 64 rounds a day, even if when you are not holding your bead bag, your tongue vibrates in chanting. So this is the effect of more chanting, right? Therefore, we should chant more. The more we chant, the more we'll get taste in holy name, the more our mind will be absorbed in holy name, and the more reciprocation comes from Krishna, right? But if we are chanting a minimum of 16, 20, 25 rounds, then yes, it's again, how much endeavor we put in order to get to 100% marks in exam. So some are satisfied with 33. There are people who are satisfied. Okay, at least I have passed the exams. Okay, you have passed the exams and don't expect high results. And then some are okay with 50, some are okay with 75, some are really fight with even 0.000001%. Why I got 99.98? Why didn't I got 100%? Some are really like that students, they are really want 100% marks. It's all up to us. But more we chant, the more Krishna will reciprocate, more taste we will get in chanting, more absorption we'll have chanting, more we'll remember Krishna's holy name at the time of really, we don't know when the death can come. So if we are in the habit of vibrating our tongue in the chanting of holy name, then definitely we can pass that crucial exam, right? And that can only happen when we chant more. So therefore it is says satatam kirtanam, that we have to constantly chant, constantly 24/7. We should try to chant. And our acharyas are the life example of this. His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, some of his confidential servants, they have revealed that when Maharaj was in the, he was not well and he was trying to be a servant. He was serving Maharaj as a servant. And at night time, he could hear Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Hare Ram, 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 Hare. And he was thinking like from where this voice is coming. And then when he went close to Maharaj's bed, he heard that even in his nights, while sleeping also, the tongue was vibrating and His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj was chanting. The example of Srila Prabhupada, that Srila Prabhupada during his last days, when he was not well, and till last day actually he was dictating the purports of Srimad Bhagavatam in that dictaphone. But at that time, one day when Prabhupada was just opening his mouth wide open, but he couldn't say anything. At that time, it was the duty of Gurudev, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, that he would put few drops of water into the mouth of Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj writes in his book, this Ocean of Mercy, he writes this pastime. And he said that he used to put that water into the mouth of Srila Prabhupada. And Akinchana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj was there at the side of Prabhupada. And he said, hey, Prabhupada is chanting, can you hear? And Guru Maharaj said, where? How do you know that Prabhupada is chanting? Then he said, just see, when you put the water in the mouth, just observe his tongue. And when Guru Maharaj next time, when Prabhupada was just opening his mouth, because Prabhupada practically left everything. He was not eating, he was not drinking during his last days, and only some few drops of water was going in his body. So when Maharaj was putting, he could see that tongue was vibrating in Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. He was chanting that Maha Mantra. Though the sound was not coming, though nobody could hear, but still his tongue was vibrating. That's the effect of more chanting. So the more we chant, more we remember Krishna. And that's what is needed, right? Smaranam muktva kalevaram. It's only through smaran that we'll be relieved from this bodily existence. And that can only happen, that smaran will only come when there is a top class kirtan and there is a top class shravanam. When shravanam and kirtanam is on to the top class, smaranam will automatically come. And smaranam will come, then we'll pass all the exams. Hope that helps, Neha Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice.
Hari bol Mataji. Very, very class. It's very, very heart-touching class. Very nice. I got so many lessons for chanting and everything, Mataji. It's real nice.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Srimati Mataji.
As usual, all the time it's very nectarian.
Thank you, Yashomati Mataji. Please bless so that I may also practice whatever I preach and I may walk my talks. So please bless me.
Radha Shyam Sundar always with you and everyone.
Thank you, Mataji.
I know. I am so fortunate.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Yashomati Mataji.
Mataji, who was that? Who was that? Prabhu, who you said?
Akinchana.
No, not him. The one who said worse than a bad round is an unchanted round.
That I don't know. Adi Gadadhar Prabhu, I mentioned that he quoted in one of his class.
Okay.
Who he quoted, I don't know.
Okay.
I just remember what he quoted is that worse chanting is better than not chanting at all.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, Shivani Mataji, would you like to take over? It's already 12:40.
Yes, sure, Mataji. Hare Krishna once again, Mataji. I would like to thank you for your beautiful and valuable association today. Thank you so much for such a nectarian class. Dear devotees, if there are no more questions or realizations, I would like to close the call with Kirtida Sundari Mataji's permission and all the devotees' permission. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namah. अनंत वैष्णव वृंद की जय, रामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर जी की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, all glories to Guru and Gauranga, Sri Caitanya Bhagavad class की जय, हर grace Kirtida Sundari Mata ji की जय, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna to everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for beautiful.